Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of the Hyperconscious Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode where we sat down with world-class track and field athlete Tyree Washington. Today, for episode number 271, we are going to do a 5-minute clinic on passion.
271, man.
271.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Before we jump into this episode on passion, I want you to go to the hyperconsciouspodcast.com, click on join #HyperConsciousNation. Folks, there's over 170 members. Join us, growth-minded individuals. Share your story. We're actually going to be going live in there tonight as well.
For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can see that Alan is wearing his full Santa outfit. I have some sort of interesting character hat on here.
It's a taiga.
Taiga, like a taiga. So this is our Christmas week set of episodes here. So, also,
the event.
1 month,
From
almost 1 month from today,
right.
Top Notch Live 2020 at UMass Lowell Conference Center. So we just locked in some next level photographers and videographers. Alessandro, shout out to him. He's flying all the way from Italy to come to this event to take pictures and to meet us again. Guys, this event will change your life. I see a lot of people saying 2020 is going to be the best year ever. It's only going to be as good as you make it. And that is the biggest takeaway that we want. When you leave this event, you're going to have ways to create your dream life. You're going to have tactical ways to make sure that you don't have another 2019 if 2019 wasn't great for you. You're going to learn about mindset, fitness, relationships, everything under the sun you need to know. And let's talk about passion.
Let's talk about passion.
Let's talk about passion.
Okay, so we set an intention with this episode. Kevin really did. I said, what is your intention for this episode? He said to have people understand what passion really is. So from your perspective, first question, what do you believe passion really is versus what people think it is?
I think a lot of people say like, oh, I'm really passionate about this, but they're only... It's hard to say like... You have to be passionate about the dirty work as much as you are about being in front of people doing it.
Right.
You know, like if you're an artist, you're passionate about doing the art. Selling it is just a benefit, right? If you are an artist who only liked selling art, you should be an art broker and not an artist because you wouldn't like creating the art. And I think that's... So what really made this episode come to my mind was I've been talking to a lot of people. A lot of people reach out to me and say, hey, what does it actually take to start a podcast?
Right.
And I say starting a podcast is actually easy. It's continuing the podcast that's the hard part.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're not passionate about what you're talking about, you're not going to make it to episode number 271 because behind every episode is an hour of work. Behind every single episode that you guys have heard is Alan and I recording it, right? Me editing the audio, me editing the video, me uploading it, me scheduling it, all of that stuff. And that takes almost as long as the episodes.
And we also do a preamble where we whiteboard about what we're talking about. It's interesting because let's say you like being in front of the mic and you like podcasting and you like talking about your topic. That is only, 20% of what it really takes? Like you have to also like networking. You have to like, prep work. You have to like answering and asking questions. You have to like, all of the things behind the scenes. It's interesting because when someone, like let's say you wanted to be a speaker. If you love speaking, you have to also love personal development. Otherwise, and mastering your craft behind the scenes. Travel. Right. There's so much that goes into it.
There is. And that's how you know, like, if you are getting to the end of the year and you feel like, I don't know what I'm passionate about yet, maybe it's because you haven't found something that you enjoy doing all the steps. Like, do I enjoy editing audio? Not really. Like, not really. But now I get paid to do that from other people as a podcast producer because I've done it so much here. I'm very proud of that. I take pride in helping other people start their podcasts. So it actually benefited me, in the long term. But maybe you didn't find something that you're passionate about all the way through and you're saying, like, oh, I don't think there's something out there for me. There is, but you have to love it at every level. And like, look at the guys who are the best fighters in the world, the guys and the gals who are the best fighters in the world. They love training.
Right.
After their fight, they're saying, when's the next time I can get in the gym? When is the soonest I can get in the gym to work on this, whether I won or I lost? And I think that's what separates people who are good at something and people who are world-class at something is, they love as many facets of it as possible.
It's easy to start a race. It's really hard to finish. Like you said, your first podcast episode, doing one might be easy, but 270 is a different story. The 10-second blip that kind of came to me while Kevin was talking was, if you are super passionate about something, that is probably 20% of the actual battle. And you have to be just as passionate about the other 80% behind the scenes in order to make that 20% better.
I think my 10-second blip would be, you always have to dig through the dirt to get to the shiny thing. Like that's what this is, right? Like, this is the shiny part. When you guys see us on here, this is what we love doing more than anything. This, speaking, coaching, all of that. But after this, I have to make this a reality. And like, why did I start podcasting? To impact you, to tell my story, to have guests on here, they can impart their wisdom, for Alan and I to dig deep, to become the best versions of ourselves. When I started this, my goal was not to be a great producer.
Right.
It wasn't. That is a benefit, and it is helping me. But I learned to not necessarily like it. I learned to do it. I learned to be proficient.
You can't have one
at it.
without the other.
No, and I think a lot of people, when the shine subsides and you're in a dark room doing the back end work, if you're not as passionate about that as you are standing on stage, I don't know that you're going to feel fulfilled, because you're always going to be not regretting, but you're always going to be like, now I have to do this.
Yeah,
I did
if you
this.
don't
now
love
I
the
have to do
80%,
this. You're in trouble.
To get to the 20%, you are in trouble.
And the
That's
20% is awesome,
but the 20% is what you're seeing on the surface. Like, if you see someone who's a speaker and you love, like, you see their TED Talk and you're like, oh my God, how amazing would it be to give that TED Talk? Are you seeing the 80% behind the scenes that went into that TED Talk, and are you willing to do that every day? Because that's where your real life is.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. I think that's absolute fire. So maybe you haven't found what you're quote unquote passionate about yet, but start thinking differently. Like, I'm not saying it has to light you up. The dark side of it, the dirty work, doesn't have to light you up, but it has to be something that you're willing to do consistently enough where you can either pay somebody else to do it, or, you level up to the point where you don't have to do that anymore. But you're going to have to do the dirty work in whatever it is in the beginning. And as long as you're willing to do that, then you'll get the shiny object at the end.
Absolute fire.
You dig it?
I dig it.
What are we doing on the next episode?
The next episode is going to be a small talks
Yep,
on TBD.
TBD. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this, and we will talk to you on Wednesday about something.
Have a very Merry Christmas.
That's
from
Wednesday.
Santa.
That's Wednesday. His little elf.
No, I know, but I'm going to say it 3 times.
Oh, say it 3 times.
It's Christmas week. It's the Christmas week. Have a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday from a tiger with pigtails and Santa.
If you don't celebrate Christmas, happy whatever it is you celebrate, Hanukkah, happy holidays. Spend time with your family. Do the things that matter most to you. Give yourself a little break if you need it, and start 2020 strong.
Talk soon.
Bye.